You never met a man like me. You wouldn't understand. I'm in a rock and roll business, honey. Well, I'm in a rock and roll band.
Yeah. Good morning. Welcome to the Rockstar Fitness Podcast with my hetero life mate, Silent Rob, aka Rob McGeary of Fat Loss Fast Lane. How's that going, by the way?
It's just launched my new online program. I've got a good 5 one-to-ones going, all dropping except for one who's building. We could talk about this. He's your typical skinny fat, absolute ectomorph that is now building. We could talk about that. And just my online for men's only program. So sorry, ladies, but it's only so much of you I can handle at a time. Can't do it in group format.
All right. So you pulled an industry standard and threw out I'm looking for 5 guys post. One you're a dick.
Yeah.
But two it went well, yeah.
It's worked. Can I correlate to that post having worked with any other wording? Of course it could have. I thought I'll try it once. I did try it once. I scratched that itch, and it's got people in, but so has consistent posting, consistent stories, consistent emails. I can't say it was a magic worded post with the magic number 5.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of noise in the background. That was the dog going nuts. Woof. So I think that my take on the whole thing with marketing and building the business is the slow and steady approach is the way forward, which I know is pretty much in line with what you think. So I was interested to see how things panned out for you. I know that most people that try this run it multiple times, and that says to me that, one, it's either working, or two, really not working, and they're having to prove it up.
That's the alarm bell that goes off for me. Is it okay if it worked? Cool, but then surely you've now got a bank of clients that you can get results and referrals from. Oh, you got a Rockstar mug? Go on, lad.
Look at that, the Rockstar Fitness Podcast.
Come on.
I was going to send you one. I might do it. I might send you one.
That's so cool. Yeah, so I can't see why I would then do the same thing again.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to look for another. This is where it becomes into my realms of pure honesty. I'm not going to look for another 5 or 7 or 9, 11 guys.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
scale it.
Just fucking get you in, because the system's sorted, plan's ready to go. Onboarding should be seamless by then. I have no need to do another 5.
No.
It shows exactly that. One, it worked and guys don't know how to do anything differently, or it's not working.
I remember when I first heard about this offer out small groups, like as a marketing tool, it was actually sort of, along the lines of get like a test group in.
Yeah.
Maybe do it for free, and then use their photographs as marketing material. And now it just seems to be the go-to marketing ploy for the majority. And I'm wondering if it's maybe because they're all listening to the same Fitbiz mentors, and that's kind of what we're getting from those people, which lacks imagination. Plus,
Yeah.
that's not an ongoing sort of passive lead generation strategy. So I don't know. It involves a lot of input. I mean, how many posts did you put up about it? A lot.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem like it's that hard work, but the sort of the little bit of time you spend on Canva each day, thinking about what you're going to post, the actual sort of scheduling of the post, making sure it's going out at a time where there's the most people are going to see it, things like that. They take a little bit of time, and I just think
people forget. I think that's why you see certain online PTs get that run of they're very, very consistent on social media, and then they disappear.
Yeah.
and then they come back with the same stuff.
I can't be bothered with it. I mean, that's the God's honest truth. Social media for me is like, it's a distraction. I'd rather not have it. I've heard people refer to it as a necessary evil. I don't agree. Right? I don't agree. I have not got a single client right now that came via social media. It's that simple. So, you know, as far as I'm concerned, it's not a necessary evil. I think it's a distraction. It gets in the way. You know, you can't tell me that you go up there to put your posts up and don't spend a bit of time browsing.
Oh, 100%.
You know what I mean?
100%.
I do. Whenever I'm sort of, you know, I've got nothing else that I want to do. I want to send something to like either you or Tom Whitehead or Morgan or Victoria. I'll spend a bit of time browsing, and then the next thing you know, you wasted 30 minutes. That 30 minutes I could have been doing something productive and valuable, but now I've just sent a bunch of fucking to Rob, you know, which productive and valuable. There you go. But yeah, it's a fucking energy and time black hole, and I just think that there are better things we can be spending our time on than that, you know. But you know, people like it. People are on there. I'm not going to use it for marketing. Simple as that. I'm going to use it to abuse people and to have rants and to just fucking be a bit me. Interestingly, when I did that before, it was a couple of years back, and I was on contest prep, and so I was ranting a lot, and my followers went up significantly. I mean, I don't have many followers. I've got like 1,500, right? But when I was ranting continuously through my diet, I was up at like 2,200. Like, people like it. People like JP being angry and ranty. So, well, I'm just...
To sum up social media, people like watching other people be angry, or they want to watch something that makes them angry.
Yeah, they want to be indignant. They want righteous indignation. Yeah, fuckers. So I will give that to them. So yeah, I mean, so anybody that sees my social media and thinks, oh, he's shit at the whole marketing thing, I'm not using it for that. Because everybody else says, when everybody goes left, go right. Simple.
People forget, how did we do this 10, 12 years ago? How was there even an industry, a thriving industry at that 10, 12 years ago?
My entire online client base, my entire online client list is a combination of Google search and referral. And in fact, my referrals program is the one that generates the most new clients. I get a fair few leads from Google on organic search. I get very little from social media in terms of leads. I simply don't get any. The ones I do get come from YouTube. So that's good. And the rest are all referral, like literally all referral. So, and those are all hot leads, right? You know, when somebody refers somebody to you, that you're pretty much, that's a close. You don't have to worry too much about whether or not you can close it. You still go through it, the process anyway, but no, referrals. And the thing about referrals is people only refer when they're happy with the service. Even if you've got a referrals program, like you could be the you know, handing out the best sort of referrals incentives that you could possibly hand out, but if you're a shit PT, nobody wants it for free anyway. So
exactly,
get good at the job, produce results. That's how you build your business.
There you go.
the results come before the rewards, ladies and gentlemen. When people get results, you get paid more. Simple as that. Be it more volume, or you can increase your prices. Simple.
Who knew? Who knew it was as simple as that?
Well, Charles Poliquin, right? That was one of the first things that I heard from him in a seminar was focus on results and the rest will take care of itself. And it kind of works, you know? So that's that. So talk to me about your skinny fat guy. Let's do that. Let's chat about skinny fat. That's a pretty good sort of thing we could do. We could cover the kind of basics of what do we look at when a client walks through the door. So a new client, they walk in, like what's the first thing we're going to look at? I mean, you get an assessment form, right? I haven't seen yours, so have I showed you mine?
I think so.
I'll send you a link. It's on type form.
Yeah, changing mine now. I've done this online thing, but yeah, it's going to be the same thing pretty much.
Are you still using clunky Word documents? Good man. Good man. So I was for quite a while, because I'm slightly pretty sure I'm slightly ADHD, so I can't start tasks that seem like they're going to be boring and long.
Yeah.
Even though I'm very capable. So what I tend to do is I tend to co-opt other people into doing it for me. Yeah. And I'm good at that. I'm really good at that, which is probably the sort of the mild psychopath in me. I'm able to kind of get my own way a lot. But yeah, so I actually traded services with a lovely young lady who has done a phenomenal job in her sort of body improvement phase. She's currently in a building phase, which you don't get many women that are interested in doing that, but this one's very, very switched on. She gets what I'm doing with her. She's leaned out a lot. She gets non-stop comments about her arms, which look incredible. And she works in digital transformations. So she was like, right, so I can do your form for you and put it onto a platform. It's web-based and it's a lot easier and more user-friendly. And you can get me in shape. I was like, right, yeah, of course we can. Let's do that. And now she's kind of completed the period that was free, and she's referred me 3 new clients. So she's got another 3-month package. That's my referral program. Is for every person they sign up, they get a month's free coaching. So 3 people, 3 months coaching, simples. So she's doing great. But yeah, I all stuck over onto Typeform. So my PARQ and my assessment forms all on there, my appraisal all on there. So yeah, that when that comes through, because the photographs I have the photographs get attached to the form. So the first thing I do is look at the photographs. I don't know about you. It's the first thing I do. And then it's a case of kind of triaging them. Like, what do they know? What's their understanding of training? What's their understanding of nutrition? What level can we start them at in that respect? Like, so if they've got fuck all knowledge in nutrition, what do we do? Do we go with like just guidelines? Do we give them macros, meal plan? What's the approach? What's the go-to? Somebody that comes on board has been tracking for a while and kind of understands it. I'm still going to give them a meal plan, but I'm going to tell them that it's not compulsory and that they can follow the meal plan or they can use the macros because they get that as well. And you know that remains the case until I've seen a problem crop up, and then it's like, okay, well, I need to dial things back again. Yeah. But a lot of the time, I start people out with quite a strict approach, very rigid, very strict, and then build and layer flexibility in on top of it.
That's it. I agree with that. It's too many adding that flexibility in straight away, and it's I feel not necessarily causing more problems, but you're not helping solve any of the problems that they come.
You know, when people talk to me about flexibility right off the bat, you hear them sort of bring it up, like, oh, cheat days and cheat meals. Like, you know, you do realize that the cheat meals are the reason that you're in the state you're in right now. So you had all your cheat meals, you had all your flexibility. We're going to take it away for a little while, and we're going to rebuild your ability to handle it. Because you have to demonstrate competence, and you have to demonstrate that you can handle the life you have right now before you're given more. So, if I want to be a millionaire, I need to be able to demonstrate that I can handle what I've got right now. Do that for a period of time, and then because you can sort of, I'm not kind of new age and airy fairy, but I genuinely do think that the universe doesn't give you more until you can handle what you've already got on your plate.
100%. Yeah.
You know, so once you can handle more, then, you know, I as a coach looking in at that can go, right, okay, well, you can handle more, let's give you more. There's more flexibility. Here's this, you choose what you put in there, and that's kind of how we move forward with that. What about you, man? What's the Rob? What's the total immersion?
So yeah, dieting them as high as I can to begin with, and as strictly as I can to begin with.
Yeah.
Understanding that I'm not a big fan of these. You can diet down and still enjoy all the food you love. No. You can enjoy the food you love much better later down the line and in large quantities as well, funnily enough. I would rather that you undo the fucking issue that you've caused over years of treating your body like shit, treating your health like shit, completely neglecting it. So let's go hard for a short period of time now, or strict, I shouldn't say hard. Let's go strict for a short period of time now, help you understand what actual good, nutritious food looks like, what actual portion sizes are, whether that's through meal planning, macros, etc. Track everything so you get an education in what a day and week's food looks like. And then we watch your weight, and then we correlate the two together. So you start seeing progress. You start understanding why you're seeing progress. If you're not, by which I mean looking at like your weekly averages, that sort of thing, reminding yourself that it's not what's happening on one day, but stacking up those successful days is certainly going to lead to a successful week. And then some flexibility can creep in later down the line, but I would still always push, more so in terms of the carb intake, that it's the cleanest, most nutritious carbs that are going to really fuel the whole process. Energy.
I'm a little bit more flexible in my approach there. I mean, I tend to. I mean, it's much the same. It's a strict, rigid start, as I mentioned. I like with a lot of first-time dieters, I like low to high rather than high to low.
Yeah.
I just find that psychologically it pairs the hardest part with the point at which I'm most motivated. And then I like to, once I do start building in those cheat meals or those sort of that increased flexibility and those increased carbohydrates, I give them options to begin with. So get like multiple options. These are the things that you should choose from. But when they eventually get to that point of having like cheat meals, where it's like, okay, you have one meal, like have what you want. It's kind of like, I don't mind if it's right out there, simply because, you know, the calories are what effectively is the only thing we need to really worry about. If it's one meal or if it's 2 meals a week, that's really a drop in the ocean in terms of, you know, yeah, maybe there's a bit more saturated fat in there than you would normally like. Possibly there's a bit too much sugar in something than you might necessarily think is a good idea. But when you've got somebody working really, really well like that, when you've got them they've gone from sort of, you know, a very, very rigid plan, it's been very strict, the body's getting used to handling the food that's coming in. You put a bit of junk food in, the body just handles it. It just deals with it. It doesn't shit the bed and fall apart. I mean, now, sometimes with some meals, people experience digestive stress, right? Because, you know, not everything agrees with everyone. And the problem with the current setup with society, where it's all instant gratification, is that we eat these things all the time. So that becomes the norm, right? We become kind of desensitized to it and used to it. And then we go for a period without, and what happens? You put that back in, and all of a sudden that curry or that burger or those, you know, those muffins may leave you feeling like you're 4 or 5 months pregnant as a man, you know? And so it's sometimes a case of doing it to find out what not to do.
Yeah. So
that down the line you can be like, right, I eat foods, and Ben Pakulski, I think, was the one that coined the phrase, eat foods that like you, not the other way around.
Nice.
You know, so you end up sticking to food groups and food types that, not food groups, but food types that agree with you. For instance, I don't eat onions or garlic unless I can't avoid it. Because onions and garlic cause me massive digestive stress. So that means I've then got to be a bit careful about what chili sauces I use, or what, you know, cheat meals I have, because a lot of stuff contains garlic and onions. You know? I'm kind of careful about it, but it causes me incredible digestive stress. Like I'm just like bloated beyond belief, for a couple of days.
Yeah.
In fact, the leaner you get, the more pronounced it becomes and the harder it is to clear, right? So I had a cheat meal about 5 weeks out from my first ever show. And I went to a cheat meal, right? I went and had chicken shish with some rice, right? So not really a cheat meal, like grilled chicken and rice.
Yeah.
But I had some garlic sauce and some chili sauce on it, right? Neither of which were particularly calorific. It's like a yogurt garlic sauce and a tomato-based chili sauce, right? And I woke up the next day and I was like, I look as if I'm fat. I mean, I just look fat. And I say the next day, like it was within hours that I started to feel like bad. But it took 4 weeks for that to clear to the point where I didn't feel really bloated.
Yeah.
But even when I got on stage, I still couldn't get my abs in as tight as I wanted. And the difference between show 1 and show 2, where I avoided all that stuff like the plague,
Yeah.
was phenomenal. It was enormous. Like I could really get my abs on, and I felt good about it. Whereas the first show, I was just on stage going, "Everybody's gonna know I've eaten that chili sauce." I mean, they didn't. I won the show, so. But you know, I think I would have been even more head and shoulders in front had I not had that chili sauce that had contained, or the garlic sauce that contained things that upset my GI tract. I think we all need to be a bit careful about these things, and it's
Really?
why avoiding them for a period of time is a good idea, because then when you go back, you can discover, oh, I actually don't feel good doing this. Like alcohol, Jesus. When I was a party animal, my fucking business is called Rockstar Fitness. I was a party animal, and I've spent a lot of time in my life, like in my previous life, snowboarding, and even when my long-term relationship broke down, getting after it, and being a bit of a party animal. I mean, I know you much the same, right? But these days, I'm like 1 or 2 drinks, I think I'm done. Do you know what I mean? Because I went out and I had like 3 beers with Tom Morgan, and it was day drinking. It was in the sun, and then we jumped on the Thames Clipper. We got the Clipper back to Woolwich, and it's brilliant. Sitting out on the back deck, had a bottle of Peroni.
Love it.
Got off the boat, and I'm already getting a headache. And I'm like, I don't like this. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to give up drinking. I'm just going to be very, very controlled in how I do it, for, you know, which is much the same as I've been for the last 4 years, because I've been obviously competing on and off. You don't tend to drink that much. But I'm good when I do it. It will be in special occasions. Like I'll have 1 or 2 drinks at my future brother-in-law's wedding in August. I'll have a few drinks. Her and I are going to Crete for a few days at the start of August. I'll have a few drinks there with meals and, you know, in the bar, blah blah blah. You know, the usual on the beach, but not excessive amounts. When we go to Austria, I will be on the tables dancing, and I will be continuously beer in hand or Jaeger in hand, and that's fine. It's at points of the year, right? The rest of the year, the rest of the year, not a lot. I mean, I've got a large collection of Scotch, and I'll have maybe one every couple of weeks. You know, and I will keep adding to this large collection of Scotch, and it's never going to be finished.
Yeah.
Simply put, I won't be able to get the way I drink Scotch, the sort of the schedule I have on it. I will never ever get through all of the whiskey I have, and I'm going to keep adding to it. So it's just going to get bigger. So yeah, it's I think it's really good to avoid some things for a while, so that when you put them back in, you can figure out whether or not they cause you a problem.
Exactly.
But not for too long.
And look at what you said there. Like it's the onions and the garlic that would screw you over, which, you know, common ingredients found in burgers, which have got a ton of extra stuff in there.
Yeah.
How people would feel bloated and rough the next day, and just assume it was just the entire package of the burger. When realistically, what is it? It's red meat.
So I go to Five Guys, right?
Yeah.
Regularly. I am a fucking Five Guys proponent. I haven't been for a while because we haven't been dieting for long enough, and it usually doesn't. It's not really required until I'm sort of a good 6 weeks into a diet and starting to go, I'm missing something. What is it? Five Guys, and then it's every week, right? Now, without fail, when I'm dieting, every week after I get to a certain point, I'll have 2 double bacon cheeseburgers, lettuce, mayo, barbecue sauce. That's it, right? It used to be 2 double bacon cheeseburgers, lettuce, mayo, barbecue sauce, and jalapenos. But the jalapenos were causing me digestive stress.
Right, there you go.
So I got rid of them, right? I also have this thing where I can't eat their seasoned fries.
Right.
Because the seasoning causes me to be out there as well. So I have the fries plain. I don't mind it like being a bit bloated when I'm off season, and I don't really care. But you know, at the end of the day, we should all be a little bit concerned about inflammation in our GI tract, because it's not just in our GI tract when that's happening, right? So, and that's not healthy. It's not a good place to be. But I don't mind so much when I'm off season. But when I'm dieting, I will avoid, like the plague, anything that causes me any kind of bloating or water retention or GI distress, because not only are you going to see obviously that your waistline gets blown out, your weight's going to go up, you're going to feel like a bag of shit, and then when you're doing your check-ins, like your daily weights or your end of week check-in, like I check in with myself when I'm dieting, so to try and be objective. But it's hard to be objective when you've done everything right and you've just eaten the wrong thing, and all of a sudden you're like 3 pounds heavier, you know, and your waistline's going up by a couple of centimeters. I'm like, motherfucker, like, it's just not right. There's veins on my cheekbones, and yet I don't look like I'm in shape. Striations on my forehead. Yeah, it's one to be aware of. Eat foods that like you, not the other way around.
Yeah, exactly. There's I don't know if you ever listened to his stuff. Mark, the guy who trained 300 actors, Henry Cavill's done military, all sorts of stuff. So he did a lot of work in Hollywood at the time before he abandoned it, because he said it's fucking a horrific environment and doesn't like it. He would be on set with the actors, the stunt crew, all these guys, making sure that they're not going to the food court, food vans, whatever, not having anything from those places, because it's not just the case of, the calories and the lean, losing their levels of leanness or anything like that. It's literally, okay, they've got a topless scene in like 3 hours. You really want them to go have that food that's going to bloat them to fuck, and they're going to look shit, and you've got 3 months.
You've got to control the variables. You don't know how the food's been prepped, what's been cooked in, right? Like certain oils will cause you problems, right? It's why that, you know, if you're dieting for a photo shoot, or you're dieting just to get lean for the summer, having a cheat meal where it causes you a little bit of GI distress, not the end of the world. So it's going to drop off. You're going to look fine again within a week or two. You know, it's not an issue. But if you're getting closer and closer to that end of diet point, and you are looking to record that with some sort of photo shoot, or you're going to the beach, or you've got some event that you want to be in really, really good shape for, it might be a good idea just to avoid things that cause you problems. It's not going to be the end of the world, but a consistency with everything is key, right? So my cheat meal when I'm dieting is always the same.
Yeah.
That sounds boring, right? But I fucking love burgers from Five Guys. Right?
Yeah.
And I can account for the calories that are in there.
Mm.
Right? And I can account for, like, so we always order a large fries, right? And they fucking fill the bag, right? You get a cup. You put the cup in the bag and they just fill the bag.
Yeah.
I eat the cup. I eat the cup's worth. That's it. Everything else in the bag doesn't exist, right? So it's the same amount every time. It's the same amount of mayo that I use for my fries every time, without fail. It's consistent. Now, there'll be a few calories up, a few calories down, depending on obviously portion sizes and the meat itself and the individual sort of buns, blah blah blah. But it's not enough. It's statistically insignificant. It's not enough to worry about. I'm having it every week. I don't worry about it. I don't stress about it. It's like brown sauce, right? Brown sauce. I have brown sauce on my egg whites when I'm dieting, right? Every single time. I don't take it out until maybe 3 or 4 weeks before a show. And the reason I don't take it out is because it's always in there, so it's consistent. So it doesn't matter. I use basically the same amount every single time. I don't change that. And once the fat loss stalls, I'm going to be adjusting the food, right, down. Condiments like that, I don't worry too much about because, it's a very, very low calorie. If it was something like full fat mayonnaise, different story. You need to track it. You need to be really on top of that. You need to make sure that if you are trying to get in really good shape, you probably want to switch to like a really low fat, like super low fat mayo, or just take it out. So yeah, some of these inconsequentials need to be monitored or removed. But others, like a bit of brown sauce, bit of low sugar ketchup, if you're that way inclined. I'm not. I think ketchup's vital. But if you're that way inclined, then what? Why can't you keep it in if you're being consistent with your usage, and you're getting your calorie regression from food? You're doing it that way, or you're adding in activity. One of the two. I think it's really important that we are able to enjoy the food that we eat. And I like brown sauce on my eggs. And when I'm having egg whites, which don't taste as good as whole eggs, I want to make sure that I'm kind of fooling myself into thinking I'm having something that I really like. So, brown sauce. Simples.
And it kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Not tricks you up, but there's a specific word, I can't think of it because I'm trying to be smart. But if you would normally, if you was going to have a full English, you'd be at the brown sauce would be there.
I'd be all over it.
The taste of egg whites, brown sauce gives you that feeling. God, I'm not dieting. I'm having a full English.
It's little things like I'll put curry powder and a bit of salt through egg whites and make an omelette, and then it's like a curried egg omelette, and it's great. I would never eat that when I'm not dieting.
Yeah.
I would never eat that when I'm not dieting. But because you're dieting, you're looking for something to give you that sort of sensation of I've had a nice meal, not just I hit my macros, everything's good. Like I had a nice meal. It satisfied something,
And when they're nice and they're tasty, you don't mind having them again and again.
Yeah.
Don't mind if it is boring to other people or even a little bit boring yourself. But if it is tasty, then man, you can increase that consistency and that adherence so easily just by doing it again and again.
Yeah. Adherence, consistency. Do that.
Yeah.
So skinny fat, what's your approach been?
Skinny fat, my geezer. So he was, when I first met him, he was 64 kilos.
Yeah.
He's that tiny, he really, really is. 64 kilos at his most overweight. And we got him down to, he didn't actually have a ton to lose. We got him down to 54.
Yeah.
And you could see everything, but there was nothing there. There was fuck all there. He had zero muscle mass on him. It was terrible. But he did what he came to me to do, got down to that weight, six-pack was on display, which is what he wanted. And then he disappeared for a little bit. I didn't see him for months. When he came back after the first lockdown, he had only put on like a handful of kilos. He'd still been training, still been quite obsessive with his food.
Yeah.
So you could say kind of maintained. He didn't want to be down at 54 kilos again because he did look pretty fucking ill because there was no muscleness on there. There was nothing on him. He had abs, but waist to shoulder ratio was 0. It was nothing. Poor geezer.
Just so you all know, guys, we're looking for a ratio of 1 to 1.618. It's quite precise.
And pronounced as well.
Yes, it's golden ratio. That's it is golden ratio. So there's a bit of a range on either side of it that you can hit, but if you're outside of that, yeah. So
so we spent the first few weeks I was with him again, chopping him down a little bit to a physique that he was happy with, rather than scale weight, and I fed him on more calories than what he did previously to get to his lowest weight. And we went more by photos and tape measures than we did the scale, because I know he obsesses over the scale quite a lot, and this take a lot of the pressure away. He got down to, we would say, good for him, a good 11% before we decided, right, this is it. Let's take it back up and start building, which is what he wants to do. He wants to actually change his physique now, and doesn't need to lose weight, doesn't need to stay shredded or anything like that. He wants to build a long-term muscular physique that he's happy with, and not be the small guy under 60 kilos anymore. So the target now is we are going to gradually, over a long period of time, build him up to maybe 65 kilos in total, without going anywhere near the body fat percentage he was at before.
Yeah, maintain waistline ratios.
Yes, this is not going to be a quick fix. Obviously, it's not going to be a 3-month.
Something that people need to hear. If you're looking to build muscle and change your physique that way, 3 months you can, like most guys can diet in 3 months and lose significant amounts.
Yeah,
and look good. But if you're looking to truly transform your physique, you're looking at a long-term approach, because building muscle takes time. It takes a lot of time. It's not
with him, we're talking like he's in his 30s, never really trained before, like very the stereotypical ectomorph, except he's short, and there was just no muscle on him when I met him. So this is not months. This is, well, we've already discussed it with him. We've already got a plan for over a year before we're even really thinking that 65 kilos would be more lean muscle mass than body fat. And so now it's, training, finding out what he likes. His legs are fucked. He's had multiple skiing accidents. His kneecaps are absolutely screwed. We're very limited to what we can do. His legs, but we still do some things. Upper body, completely free reign. We can do whatever the hell we need with his upper body. Super light, so things like pull-ups and stuff like that are easy for him.
for the right time.
Yeah. So now we're already at the stage where we're adding weight to his pull-ups. Diet-wise, we have to play it safe with him, because again, just that small increase of body fat on him will cover everything up, and definition will be gone in no time whatsoever.
That's the thing. The more muscular you are, the more fat you can get away with holding.
Yeah.
Right. It really does work that way. So if you're super skinny, low muscle mass, a couple of pounds, you look like a bag of crap. So no, man, that's good.
His heaviest that he came to me, to his lowest, leanest, was only really 10 kilos. Wasn't a ton of weight. No. It just shows how that just 10 kilos of fat can cover your body and make you look like a fucking obese person. So, well, in a photo, certainly.
Well, nobody really believes how much they've got on them, right? Most people come through the door and they're like, yeah, I only need to lose about 5 kilos. And you look at them going, 25? Like, Like,
5 kilos this week, and
yeah.
then.
But it's because a lot of guys somehow tie the body weight to their masculinity, right? There's this perception that if I get below a certain weight, then that I'm not like manly.
Yeah.
And my answer to that is usually like, are people weighing you? Oh, I don't want.
Yeah.
I know I've got to wear a small size t-shirt. Who's checking the collar on your t-shirt? Who cares? Like, the only person that knows this is you.
Hey, I saw a great tweet the other day. Someone said that improving your physique or getting a proper masculine physique is the way to make a 10-pound t-shirt look like a 300-pound t-shirt. Just by improving your body. Because
Yeah, I have two wardrobes of clothing, right? I've got my off-season clothing, which my t-shirts are 2XL.
Right.
And they fit me, right? And then I've got my dieting sort of clothing where my t-shirts are XL for the majority of the time, and then they get down to large. So that's the difference in the swing between off-season JP and like lean JP.
Yeah.
You know, I go down 2 t-shirt sizes. Nobody fucking knows. I have the same t-shirts in 3 different sizes. I'm not even joking, right? Right now I'm at that kind of in-between stage where I've lost a little bit of the fullness, and you know, you just look like a smaller, fatter version of yourself. So I'm kind of at that in-between stage. But psychologically, it doesn't bother me because I know that it's only a couple of weeks, and it'll start to come in, and then I'll be like, oh, I look good, you know. So it's not an issue. I'm only dieting just now to put me in a better position for my next push. I'm not dieting to look good naked.
Yeah.
I don't care. Victoria thinks I look good naked. That's what matters. So yeah, I'm only dieting to improve my next push, which really isn't going to start properly until September. So I'll diet until the end of August, you know, with a little break out in Crete for a few days, and then I'll start pushing calories back up again. I'll fill back out relatively quickly and get back into my XXL t-shirts.
Yeah.
I feel good, right? But nobody fucking knows. Nobody knows the size of the t-shirt I'm wearing, because that's one of the reasons why I buy them in 3 different sizes, because I know that, you know, if I decide to diet, that t-shirt's not going to fit me anymore. And I like that t-shirt, so I'll get the one that right now looks spray on as well, because, you know, after 6 weeks of dieting, it'll look just right. You know.
And that's it. No one, unless you've been doing it, working with people for a long time doing this, it's tough to guess people's body weight. So how's the general public going to look at you and go, "Oh my God, he's only 69 kilos"? Jesus.
Oh, shit! Like, no, that's big woman size. You know.
Even then, who gives a fuck?
Please, shut up. Go on. All right. On that note, I think we're going to call it a day. As always, wicked chat with you.
Pleasure.
We are better without Simon.
Poor geezer.
He'll be back.
Once he's seen his ban through whatever the fuck's gone on there.
Once he's seen his Instagram shadow ban through. You know, this is the problem with having your entire marketing done via a platform that can just pull the plug on you like that. Not so clever now. Oh dear. All right, man. Have a good week.
See you, man.
And for the rest of you,
boom.
fuck off.